Alright, I just wanted to make this quick little video about how I feel about Pocket at the moment. Just to clarify, I'm not the best player in the world, although I like to think that I am. I'm not gonna lie. Just a little background so that you don't think that I'm completely insane. I'm currently 2,900 and some 43. I've been in top 1000 before. I didn't end up in top 1000, but I've been in top 1000. I played in Pokemon. I have been in top cut in Pokemon several times. Never won. I haven't won it yet. I've been in top cut a couple of times. And so although I might not have the best understanding in the world of about the game, I think that I'm relatively competitive. I'm okay at the game. Right. I wanted to talk about a couple cards that has been on my mind recently. They have been on my mind for a while now, but it's getting to a point. So these are the cards that I want to talk about. View all. Doesn't matter. I can't view all. That's fine. These are the cards I want to talk about and how I see them as somewhat problematic in the current meta. Alright, first of all, let's get to the core. What started it all in Genetic Apex? Misty. Misty, everybody should know what Misty is, but if you don't know, it basically is flip coins until you get tails, and then you get 1 water energy for attached to the active water Pokemon. So you must be thinking, right? If you know the game, you know exactly what I'm thinking. This card is ridiculously unfair for both the person that's playing the game, like who's playing the card, and the person who is the opponent. This card does nothing half of the time. The other half of the time, it is at least a +1 in energy, and energy is like, besides just winning the game, is probably the most important resource in the game, right? So this allows you to go +1 at the very least if you're successful in the most powerful resource in the game, and can lead to turn one OTKs, right? That is a ridiculous, that doesn't really make sense if you want the game to be competitive. Also, I kind of know that the developers don't want it to be competitive. They literally said this like a day before making this recording. But still, there is a competitive scene, regardless of whether you wanted it to be competitive or not. I feel like you should be catering to the competitive players. Misty is ridiculous. It shouldn't exist. A card like this shouldn't exist in the first place. And I really thought, okay, Misty was a mistake. They don't do ban lists, and they don't change the text of cards. They don't do rotations either. So I'm like, okay, this is a learning point. They're gonna see the mistake of Misty, right? In Articuno, 18 trainer Articuno. Realize this card is problematic, and they're not gonna print anything like this ever again. It's so problematic to the point that water decks are nerfed by what they can print. Like what they can print for water cards are nerfed because Misty exists, and they genuinely fear a day where Misty propels water decks into the meta crazy. Suicune doesn't really care for Misty. You can play it in Misty, but since it's just 2 energy, it's not really that big of a deal. But they genuinely fear putting in good water cards because Misty is a thing. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. And they're gonna take that, digest it, and realize that the card might be insane, and they probably won't print anything else like this ever again, right? Tell me why in the last month or two, I can't remember when the newest set came out, they printed Misty again. They printed Misty as an item, but it doesn't give you energy. You said the problem was that Misty gave you energy, which is the most powerful resource. Okay, I said the best resource is just winning the game. And how do you win the game? Points. How do you get points? From doing damage and killing or knocking out Pokemon. Ice Pop is so ridiculous. I got in a tournament, an actual tournament, I got hit with Ice Pop that flipped 14 times, well 10 times for one Ice Pop and then 4 times for the other Ice Pop in the same match. They healed close to 300 HP with an item. That is ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, that was a very, very, very rare case. It was, I did the math. It was like 1 in 1,000. But still, the possibility of this happening ruins the competitive integrity of the game. Absolutely just destroys it and says that your decision making doesn't really matter as long as you're able to flip heads. I mean, the game is kind of like this anyways. Even outside of Ice Pop, is very much high rolling. Like Hydreigon is very much high rolling. Even Altaria is high rolling. Even Suicune is like a combination. It's not as high rolly as the other two, but you can still high roll and just like body your opponent. So the game is really high rolly, and it feels like it doesn't allow for players to show their competitive skills, their actual understanding of the game, and it really seems like it's just whoever has the better luck that day, and I dislike it. So that is my problem with the luck based part of TCG Pocket right now. Now I think there is also a different issue at hand, and that is banning and changing certain cards. Another problematic card in my opinion is Greninja. We all know Greninja. Greninja is really cool. When it came out, it wasn't that good, but as the game developed and Power Creep came in, it got retroactively buffed because of different cards, and I'll show you a couple later. Really simple. Do 20 damage to anything anywhere on the field, right, for your ability once per turn, right? This in itself isn't, it's crazy good, but it's not mind breaking. Like, it's not absolutely, doesn't absolutely destroy like the meta. But when you add things like Copycat that allows you to draw so many cards, Cyrus, which basically changes this ability into grab any Pokemon on the field and bring it to the active. And I don't have Rare Candy here, but Rare Candy, which we should all know what that does, that allows you to go turn 1, hand over the turn to your opponent, and turn 2 Greninja. It becomes a card where you're like, I kind of have to play this if I want to be competitive. I kind of have to fit this into my decks. And you can see this, right? It becomes such a problem where it's in so many decks that it kind of becomes a Greninja meta. Like you can literally argue that this is a Greninja meta. It's basically the 3 best decks and Greninja variants. I will show you. Give me one moment. Tier list. Okay, let's go here. Shout out to Pokemon Meta, really good website. Came from the Duel Links area. Not really important to the video. Right now we have Suicune, which is a water deck. I could see why you would be like, okay, it's a water deck, that's fine. It has one of the best draw engines in the game, by the way, so that you could rare candy faster, and they're playing double Cyrus so that they can hit anything on the field, by the way. But okay, let's just say this was one deck. This was just one deck theme, right? No, no, absolutely not. One of the best variants of Mega Altaria is doing the same thing. Instead of Suicune, of course, they're playing copycats. This one is playing 1 copycat. There's variants that played 2 copycats, but recently I guess they've been switching to 1 copycat. But absolutely doesn't make sense. Like here's another one. 2 copycats and rare candy. This has no right being here. Why is this card here in a psychic deck? Right? Okay, let's say that's 2 decks. Sure, that's 2 decks. Fine. This is Mega Absol Hydreigon. No, this one is not an example. Where is another one? This one. Oh. Okay, I'm looking really bad now. I'm looking kind of insane. Oh, here it is. Another deck has runs like no water energy. Some of them do. Some people play water energy. Actually, quite a few of them play water energy. But the point being is that they're just copycatting Greninja. They're adding it to everything. To literally everything. And it feels like you're just forced to play it, bro. And it does not feel good to just see Greninja on the other side of the board. Look, they're playing it in Mimikyu as well. You know? They're playing it in Mimikyu as well. It's really it really feels like it spoils down. I don't know why they're not showing. Okay, earlier they were showing all the versions, but there's even Mega Absol, Darkrai, and Greninja. That's also a deck. That's at least like 4 or 5 decks in the meta that have Greninja, and about 4 of them don't even play water energy. 3 to 4 of them doesn't even play water energy, and I don't feel like it really makes it feel like deck building boils down to we're gonna add Greninja or like whatever really is good at the time, and everything else is just a hit stick, a beat stick. And I don't think it's that healthy for deck building. You know, it's not that healthy for deck building in my opinion. So yeah, that's it. If you think that I'm incorrect, then you can go ahead and just say it. I really could care less. That's just my opinion about the game in its current state. So yeah.